Okay. We are live on Facebook. Today is yet another beautiful day that we have on the NIADA show. We are supposed to have 3 other panel members to join us. It's likely we will not have the opportunity to have them on the show because they have other issues that they need to handle. And so on the show tonight, we have Madam Anita A. Asamoah, who is a passionate gender advocate. She's also a public health advocate and career and life coach. Today, we're going to discuss bullying in schools. Once, if you have been to a secondary school before or college, or in a training college in Ghana here, then you know what bullying is. We go to our schools very soon. I think today is 9th, tomorrow school will reopen. And we have our brothers and sisters going back to school. We have our children going back to school. In terms of bullying, a lot has happened in some parts of Africa. Recently, we heard about an incident in Nigeria about one young boy who died as a result of bullying from his colleagues. In Ghana here, a lot has happened that most students even have to be suspended because of such act. As Konongo Oduma said, there was an incident that was recorded where a student lost his life as a result of bullying. This bullying thing didn't start today. It started way back. So now what we're going to talk about, we're going to discuss the forms that this bullying take. What form does it take? Why do students want to engage in bullying in schools? Why do some make it their habits that we would want to really bully others and make sure their life on campus become uncomfortable? And what can we do if we are parents? What can we do to help the situation? If we are teachers in schools, what can we do to help the situation? And if we are students ourselves, what can we also do to help the situation? So today I have Madam Anita on the show. I'm sure as time passes by, we have other people who will join us. So Anita, I welcome you to the show. Today is 9th, and this is my other show. So we're going to, as I said, we're going to discuss about bullying. So the topic we are discussing is bullying in secondary schools or bullying in boarding schools. Is a boarding house concept still relevant in the face of abuse? Talking of incidents that are happening in schools, we think that it's prudent that we send our kids, we send our brothers, we send our sisters to boarding school. So that is what we're going to discuss about. And we also entreat our listeners, our viewers, to share their experiences with us. I have a lot to share myself. So we encourage everyone to share, join the conversation and share your experience. So I welcome you to the show. And then I'll first of all ask what bullying is in your own view. When you talk of bullying, what it is, what forms does it take? Yes.
Oh, so yeah, thanks for having me, Nanaya. I think bullying is just or let me say a bully is someone who kind of finds joy in making others feel uncomfortable. So, and bullying in itself comes in different forms. And it happens among children, even amongst we adults as well, it happens. And the boarding school system, I think, makes it thrive more because of the way it is. Parents are not there, and then maybe the teachers themselves are not, maybe they don't really pay much attention to, to the kids. But I mean, generally, bullying is just making someone uncomfortable. The person, someone that you know that is maybe vulnerable, then you try to, intimidate the person, maybe to get something from them, or, just to make them feel horrible. So basically, that's just what bullying is about.
All right, thank you so much. So I think, so when we go to secondary school, usually the experience I had in school, I went to mixed schools. And then the experience I had during my time were usually the so-called sisters or the seniors who will sit in front of their dormitories and make sure that you don't even go to class. And usually when you are coming from lectures, or when you're coming from class, in secondary school, we say class. When you're coming from class, you come and meet your sisters, about 3 of them, 6 of them, sitting right at the door, waiting for you people to come. And then when you come, if the 3 of them need water, one will first send you to go and buy water. And when you bring that water, another person will send you to go back to the same place
and buy
and bring water. Then another person will also send you, knowing that you have class to catch. So they try to frustrate your life such that you will not have joy in even leaving the school. Some of these women that they do that, some of these ladies, I know when you go to the boys' dormitory, it happens there a lot in its own form. But I think in the women's dormitory, it's worse. Because women, we act with our emotions, everything we do. Now, my question is, what will push a woman, or what will compel a woman to say that I would want to maltreat a fellow woman in school? Others are of the view that for some, it's because of insecurities. Or possibly if they realize you are more beautiful than them, you are intelligent than them, they want to do that to intimidate you or humiliate you. Is there any truth in this?
Oh, well, there may be a bit of truth in that, but I mean, it's a kind of, should I say, a norm that people meet in the schools. So they themselves, they tend to want to kind of maybe retaliate or treat their juniors like that because they themselves were treated that way. So it has become a norm in the schools, and I don't know if now it still exists. Maybe it's minimal, but I know it exists. I mean, certainly exists, but maybe not as bad as it was those days. But well, one can say maybe it's out of jealousy, but I mean, why are you jealous of the person? I mean, a junior who is, I mean, way younger than you. So it's not really about jealousy or, maybe the person is beautiful. I mean, so the person is beautiful. Would you injure the person or kill the person? No. It's a kind of mental illness, I would say. If a student or a senior derives joy in just punishing the junior ones and bullying them and taking their food stuff or food to eat because she or he doesn't have some, it's a kind of mental problem because you derive joy in doing and in causing harm to the other. So that is illness. It is an illness. It is a form of illness. And I think for the women, when you say maybe girls girl to girl treating each other like that. I don't think it is gender-based because it happens both ways, both the male and the female hostels, both the male and the female schools. It happens there as well. So I don't think it is that. But then there are situations whereby maybe, in secondary schools, some of those boys' schools or the mixed schools, maybe some of the seniors, they are eyeing one particular boy or have a crush on maybe a boy, and that particular boy maybe is also talking to maybe a junior student. So as such, that particular senior who is maybe in your dormitory or whatever may tend to hate you or maybe want to, kind of teach you a lesson, in quotes, to maybe sort of maybe leave my boy alone or something like that. But then, I mean, maybe the boy in question doesn't even know that this particular senior, maybe wants him or something like that, or has a crush on him. So it depends on the form which it comes. But in this context, for within women or within girls in the same dormitory or, girl senior to junior students, I think one of the basic things that would make it to happen would be this relationship aspect. So maybe they have a crush on a senior boy or something like that, and then, it could lead to a form of bullying. Yeah.
It's very interesting.
So, yeah. And sometimes too, the boy amongst the boys in the mixed schools, maybe another boy has a girlfriend in another class, and then this other boy who is a senior too wants maybe that girl who is a junior student, and because of that, this particular senior boy would want to punish the boyfriend of the girl
who is a
because
junior.
he is senior. Maybe that boy is in SS2 or SS1, that's the senior high, and he is in maybe, the Form 3 or what they call SS3 or whatever. And then as such, he would want to punish that boy because the boy already has access to the girl he is eyeing as well. So amongst the boys too, it happens. It happens. And for some, yeah, sorry.
All right, so thank you. I'll come back to you on the forms that it takes, because some scholars say we have the physical bullying, we have the social bullying, we have the cyber bullying, we have a lot of them. So we'll come back to that as well. We have Noah Fiadu Pogli on the show. Noah, we welcome you to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to have you here. All right, so we are discussing bullying in boarding schools. In Ghana here, we've recorded a lot of incidents about students, senior students bullying the junior ones in secondary school. Recently, we had one at Konongo Dumase where a student even had to lose his life. I think this is not the first incident that has happened in Ghana. A lot has happened. Personally, we have also experienced some kind of bullying in schools. Nigeria issue was also one of them where a student has to lose his life because he was subjected to bullying in school. So we are discussing bullying in the face of boarding school system. Is it still relevant?
Yeah, thank you. And I'm sure my friend and scholar Anita might have spoken a lot about bullying in secondary schools. Personally, I have experienced that in secondary school. Okay, when I was a Nino, though they call us Ninos. Okay, when you first enter secondary school, you are called Ninos. And you are required to do certain works or undertake certain projects because you are new in the school. So seniors come with all sorts of works that you can really understand what's the reason why they are requesting you to do all that. But not all the works are part of bullying or are considered bullying. Not all of them are considered as punishments. But it happens when you don't do certain things that you are expected, then you are asked to kneel down, and a senior student removes a belt, or sometimes they use their hands just to lash the back of your hands, or sometimes they use belts to just lash you as if they have given birth to you and they are in charge of your welfare and everything else that you do in that secondary school. So it has been there before I entered secondary school. It has been there, but the question is it still relevant? Okay.
So before you answer that the question, in your view, you think that bullying only happens when a junior student refuses to perform a task, and then the senior will have to punish him or her for that? Is that what you're saying?
Not entirely, but there are instances that the person is not given a task. You sometimes you are sleeping, and because they're in the mood, okay, to punish juniors, then they'll pour water on you. Yeah, wake up. Sometimes they shout, they pour water on you and do all sorts of things just to show you that yes, they are seniors and you have arrived. So sometimes it's not a task. Sometimes you are just there and they just want to show you that I'm a senior, or they are the seniors and you are the juniors. So it's in itself, it's a form of abuse. Itself is a form of abuse. But because in schools, we don't have our parents there. And in dormitories, the senior house mistress or housemasters are not there to check what is happening. So things happen. And it's instances or some instances that the report gets to the senior housemaster or the senior house mistress about what is happening in the dormitory. But most cases, when reports get to the senior members, and the seniors get to know that you, the junior who has gone to report, they tend to bully you more. So there is that fear that is injected in the young ones not to report cases like that. So many cases of bullying might be going on all over the country, but they are not reported because of that fear instilled in the young ones not to report. But up to whether it's relevant, yes, it's an abuse. And I mean, in this 21st century, I don't think bullying should still be going on in secondary school. I left school in secondary school some time back, but it shouldn't be going on as it used to be. But I stand to be corrected. If it is still going on the way it used to be, then indeed it's a security issue. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. So I'll come back on you. I'll come back to you later. Maybe you possibly share with us some of the experiences you had personally in schools. Now I'm going back to Anita. Bullying, does it always have to be physical? When we say a student is being bullied in school, is it always physical? Or there are other ways that a student may not necessarily be physically harmed, but will still be abused?
Oh yeah, I mean there are other forms. It mustn't necessarily be physical, because I mean you may not beat the person, but you instill fear in the person. That is emotional bullying. You're making the person scared. So the junior sees you, or the student sees you and is scared, and the junior can't even report to a teacher or the form mistress or whatever. So that is that is an abuse, but it is not physical sort of, no harm is like caused, but there's harm caused mentally to the person. And then a senior may confiscate your food or your gari or your granite or your others, maybe sardine or whatever that your parents gave you when you were going to school. And you wouldn't have anything to snack on whilst he or she eats all your snacks and food, your biscuits and everything. I mean, that is bullying. You are not beating the student or the child, but you've taken what the person would eat from him or her, and that is abuse. It is a form of bullying. So it's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily has to be physical, but the mental aspect of it even lasts longer than that the physical one, because the child grows up with it and they may hate you, and even later in future, if that junior student meets you somewhere, you may not like the way they may treat you, so it lasts longer.
You are right. You are right about that. This was experience I had in even training college, not secondary school. Which I consider it as a social bullying. The person will not have the power to beat you or ask you to go and read or destroy your provision or any other thing. But then the person will spread rumors about you. My first day in training college, my first night, I had this beautiful nightgown with my sleeping. So, sister, I have come to school. I mean, it's time to go to bed. So I just put on my nightgown and then I wore my slippers just to, do my few things before I go to bed. And then this senior sister came. What's her name? Her name was Yvonne or something. She came and she started shouting, "Hey, a certain lady has come to school with a dinner wear." Then she started calling out her friends to come and see. And so they came and said, "Hey, you have brought a dinnerware to school to snatch our boyfriends." Trust me, that was my first day in school. I didn't know any of their boyfriends, but this guy, they made a lot of noise that night to the point that I should change my night team because I'm going to use it to snatch their boyfriends. And I was like, I look at them, in fact, I became a bit rude. And I told them that, you know what? If in your house you wear this to dinner, I'm sorry to disappoint you. In my house, we wear this to sleep. And they said, sometimes they will shout and say, if you've said something that is evil or taboo, so you have to retract it. I said, no, this is a nightie, and if in your house you use it to attend dinner, I'm sorry, I use this to sleep in my house. In fact, that was the end of May. These ladies made me their project in the school. The next morning, before we could even go to class know where we will sit and blah, blah, my name was all over on campus that there's this girl, this rude girl who has come to school with dinner dress to snatch our boyfriends. And everybody wanted to know who this girl was. Who does she think he is at all? And in fact, it was interesting. It became so heated that then I wasn't happy. Then I told myself that I would teach this girl a lesson. So I went to look for her boyfriend. You said I have brought my dinnerware to snatch your boyfriend. I have to go and look for that boyfriend, how special he is, who he is at all, that the girlfriend has to harass me because of him. I went and looked for him. And I made sure I became his tight friend just to frustrate the girl. Just to frustrate the girl. And then she made sure that anytime the first year students have gathered and I am in, she has to find a punishment for them because I was in, so that I'll be punished. You go to entertainment and she'll go and report you to entertainment master that you didn't dance. Since when did dancing at entertainment or not dancing at entertainment became an offense? And then they want to punish you for this. But maybe because some of us are so strong that we can really stand to this test of time. I mean, some of us, you can't easily bully us like that and go, regardless of your status or who you think you are, you can't bully us. But it's not everybody, because I remember those times my other colleagues were there. And when they hear the voices of these seniors, they just want to hide in a hole. So I think those verbal and those social bullying is really serious. The students become uncomfortable. Everybody wants to know you. You come to school, you've not even spent a week. And everybody is looking for you because somebody said you are rude. Somebody said you have this beautiful dress that can snatch their boyfriends away. So it's really, really a problem, especially when it has to do with the girls' dormitory. I said earlier that women do things with their emotions. Whatever they do, they attach some sort of hatred. They attach some sort of jealousy. So the hate that they have alone, or some sort of jealousy that they are experiencing alone, will cause them to harm you one way or the other. So it's actually a problem. I don't know much about what happens in the boys' dormitory. So once Noah is here, maybe we want to find out from him what form exactly does a boy in the boys' dormitory, what form does this bullying take among the boys?
Yeah, thank you. You have said it all, and like you have indicated, particularly to the ladies' dormitory, a lot of things happen. Likewise, a lot of things happen in the boys' dormitory, and it takes the form of you being the boy and polishing shoes. Okay, they could bring a lot of shoes to you, and then you use your own polish, okay, your own polish to polish all their shoes. And when it's finished, they don't mind you. Then there are instances that you have to get a food prepared for them. There are instances that you are sent to go and call your school mother. Okay, so you have to call your school mother. They assign school mother. They have school mothers, or their girlfriends, senior girlfriends. They are your school mothers, so they have to go and call your school mother for them. Sometimes if you go, you can't enter the girls' dormitory, so you have to go and hang somewhere and wait for a lady who is going to the house, and then you whisper into the lady's ear and say, "Look, call that woman for me, or call that lady for me, because my school father or a senior said I should go and look for that lady for him." So then there are instances that you don't even know what offense you have committed, and you are just called to go and read, and you have to go read. School will be in session, class will be in session, but you have to read. And the portions that they give you, you realize that you can read for the whole week. And if you go and report to the house master, sometimes they side with the seniors. I don't know why. Largely house masters and house mistresses side with the seniors when it comes to bullying. Yeah, so many instances that colleagues have reported bullying to the house master, and they haven't done anything about it. They have even reinforced the acts that the senior is asking you to do.
Yes.
Okay. Then sometimes you also fetch water. You walk a long distance to go and fetch water and bring it, and a senior will forcefully take it from you. Sometimes even bed sheets, they want to take it from you. You say you have to sleep without covering yourself. A lot of things, even sometimes our chop boxes, our tracks, sometimes to forcefully open it and take things from it. And when you cry or you report, it's as if you are in no man's land and you just have to keep quiet and watch them do whatever they want to do. So bullying boys dormitory is really, really psychologically torturing, emotionally suffering, and physically, there are times that they physically abuse people who, I mean, they can easily do things to physically. I don't know, but I know that there are things that I've heard, okay, from boys' schools whereby bullying takes even a sexual undertone. I haven't seen that personally, but we in Body House then we had stories from boys' schools that the young ones are forcefully being sexually abused as well. And some of those cases we only hear of them in the news, but physically I haven't experienced that and I haven't seen that personally, but we heard of that. But other people may tell stories of that. But that is how bullying in my school has been. Thank you.
Okay, so I mean, I would like to ask the two of you, did you ever drink Gary in combination with Omo and San and those things? Seniors will bring one basin, a plastic bowl, and then
there's one instance. Not personally, not me, but a colleague of mine, he also a junior at the time, was eating Gary, and the one senior requested that Gary to be brought to him, and the boy refused. So the senior fetched sand and poured it inside the Gary and stir it and asked the boy to eat it. And other seniors came supporting that he has to eat that Gary. And he also refused not to eat it. And the whole thing, it was something else. But it took the intervention of the house prefect. Okay, the house prefect came and pleaded with the seniors to leave the boy. That is one instance I know. But for the Omo and that thing, I haven't experienced that.
Yeah, in secondary school, one of our seniors, in fact, there were three actually. There were, we have some class of sisters who never complete school. Their time will be due and they won't even go and write their final exams. They are always there. The school authorities themselves cannot sack them. Even when they are suspended, they are still living in the school and they do whatever they want. Oh. There was an instance where they put papers in a basin and asked all the first year students in the dormitory to pick. Whatever you pick is what you bring. So when you pick Gary, you go and fetch Gary and pour it in the basin. And when you pick sugar, you go and pour it. In fact, there was Omo, there was sand, there was sugar, there was shito, anything you can think of. And they put everything in the bowl. So at that time we had come from prep, what we call prep, the evening prep, preparation towards exams and stuff. And then they lined us up and told us that everybody should taste it, take 1 spoon. In fact, it was just 1 spoon in the Gary that everybody must use. So you can even think of the health implication of this. You fetch one spoon, you drink, and then you go in the other spoon. So I made sure that I was at the last end. I wasn't that stubborn. Maybe I was just too intelligent. Some of them felt I was too intelligent for their liking. And when I went to the first year, immediately I was made part of the school debating club. And I was doing a lot of activities in school. So my life was kind of pack off, So I joined the queue, but I was the last person. So everybody fetched out of fear. They all drank the Gary mixed with sugar, Omo, and the stand. And then it got to my turn. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't drink this. So it became very heated argument. And then our senior house mistress's bungalow was really closer to our house. In fact, our house was known for notorious students. Our particular house 3. And the woman heard the noise and she came out. What's the problem? I said, well, this is what they've made for us to eat. And I said, I can't eat it. So the woman took this gari to her home. And in the morning, she took it to the housemaster's office. These seniors were called out to come and drink it themselves. They made sure they drank and they punished them. They said they have dismissed them from the school. But they lived there, even when we were leaving, some of them were still there. They are there, they don't want to even graduate. So they are just there. So I don't know. Now you meet some of them and so to speak, they are nobody, okay? Because of possibly that kind of attitude they had, they couldn't go far. They couldn't continue their education, they couldn't do anything better for themselves. And some of them will meet you on Facebook and beg you for money, 50 cedis, 100 cedis. And they'll be begging you for it, forgetting that they were the same people who wasted their lives in secondary school maltreating others. And I think this is one of the biggest issues that we have in Ghana here. Some of these ones are just the minor ones that we can think.
Yeah.
There were other serious bullying that, I mean, example is what happened at Konongo Dumasi. I mentioned the issue of this Nigerian young boy who died in the States. Some of them, in fact, they killed some of their colleagues, buried them. And so those are some of the serious ones that we have in our schools. And that is why we are asking that. Should parents consider the boarding school system as an option? Looking at the faces of this abuse that happen in schools, if you are a parent, should you consider a boarding school system as an option? Or is safe that, well, if my kid will go to school and suffer this abuse and possibly eventually lose his or her life, then they better off stay home with me?
Well, it all depends. But I mean, if the school is far away, there's no option than for the child to be in boarding school. If the house is not, if the school is not far, then you can just make your child go from the house. But I think in Ghana, most of I think all the senior high schools are boarding, if I'm not wrong. I think most of them are, I mean, a lot of the schools are, I mean, boarding system for the senior high school, I mean. So if you want a school whereby you don't want your ward or your child to live in the school, then you pick a school that is close by. I think that would be the best thing. But most people want those famous schools as well. So they don't have an option than to pick those schools, and the child will have to be in the school premises and live there till he or she is done. So, well, sometimes the school living, being in boarding school can shape you sometimes. I mean, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
But then also you can pick bad habits and all that. So it depends on the home training as well you give your child. So if the child is not well trained, then that means he or she will pick up bad habits. You know, if the child is not strong as well, the child, he or she could be bullied. So, I mean, it depends. But that doesn't mean that the boarding school system isn't good. No, it is. It's just that the house mistresses or the masters, the school itself, the principals and all those people, the teachers, should make rules and make it known that, I mean, if you do this, if you bully anyone, you are going home. That is it. That is it. You are dismissed. And that should be enforced. That is just the only way out, because the boarding school system itself is good. It's for me, I think it is good. I didn't attend. I wasn't in the boarding school in secondary school, but I know it helps as well.
It
It
really
helps.
helps. I can
Yeah.
attest
Yeah.
to that.
Let,
Noah,
let me add to what my sister said. And the philosophy of the body house is to foster integration. Okay, that was
sure.
the idea. Okay, and I have experienced that. Okay, I went to a body school, and some of my colleagues are from different backgrounds. Okay, with different ideas, different characters, behavioral patterns, and interacting with them, I've picked things, okay, pieces of behaviors and attitudes. Some are, of course, bad, some are also good, but not to practice the bad aspects. Some we just have to observe and assume that those things also exist in our societies, and also how to deal with them. So they have really taught me many things that, assuming I'm alone in my own room or in my own community or in my own home, I wouldn't have known so many of those things. So body house system is a very good one, very, very good one. Even academically, there are things you won't understand. And the person who is sleeping under, okay, you're on the top bed, and the person who is under is also in the same class with you, or beside you is the same class with you. So you could just quickly ask the person, this aspect of this course, I don't really understand. And the person will explain to you before you sleep. So academically is good. And also socially is good. The friends that I've come to know today or have today are friends I knew of from body school. Okay, those I'm doing business with, they are the ones that we were in the body school together. Some were seniors, some were juniors, okay? And we are together today and fostering social bond and all that. So body school is very good. But the bullying is the afterthought. To me, the bullying is the afterthought. And like Sister Anita is saying, it can be regulated. If the senior mistress and the senior housemasters are willing to regulate it. Okay, if the systems are there to check bullying, okay, when punishment is meted to those who engage in bullying, then I'm sure there will be a favorable environment in the secondary schools where bullying won't exist. And of course, there are some bullies that take form of helping the university. So for instance, helping the secondary schools. For instance, you do something wrong, okay, and of course, justly, the person is wrong, and the punishment is either to do some work, okay, that could help or keep the secondary school neat or something like that. Sometimes you have done something wrong, and a senior will say, go and sweep the house mistress compound. Some of those punishments, they allow. They also teach us how to weed. They teach us how to sweep, and they teach us how to keep things clean. Okay, but the extreme ones are really unjust, and it's actually a form of child abuse or human rights abuse. That's my.
I think you are right about it. So the boarding school system itself is not evil. The boarding school system itself is not evil. I think most of the students who are even not in the boarding school wish they are there, because as you said, you have the opportunity to mingle with a lot of people from different backgrounds. You have the opportunity to share ideas, especially after class, after school hours. And evening, you have to go for prep. You meet other students. Some are so sharp that they can even help the others who are academically low to also man up their games. And so I think the boarding school system itself is not evil. Maybe the school authorities, as you said, need to really also work extra hard, because it's so surprising that a senior will punish you and you really know that this is so unjust, and you report to a teacher, and then you'll be shocked to hear that, I mean, this is normal. are you the first student to be punished? And so this deter other students from reporting such cases to the senior house mistresses and the teachers in schools. And we get opportunity to, also meet people. As you said, you have some of your secondary school friends or classmates whom you are in business with right now. Yes, it's good. One of my great mentors is a person whom I met in secondary school. Of course, because of him, I was punished so many times. I was punished so many times, but he's really been of great help to me in terms of knowledge, in terms of business. He has been very instrumental in my life. He has even been on this show once, Gabriel. He was very smart in school. And I remember when I joined the school debating club, he was the one I was assigned to. And he helped me throughout that. Every debate, whether inter-schools, whether regional, whether district, whether national, that we went. Because of his training, I won those debates. And so you can really say that some of these associations benefit us some way, somehow. Now, the teachers themselves. I think the teachers themselves, some way, somehow, also bully students. Would you have something to say about that? The teachers themselves, we have talked about student-to-student bullying. Do you think that the teachers themselves or the school authorities themselves subtly also bully students in school? I'm saying this because, I'm saying this because I think if you are a woman, you will understand this better. I don't know whether Anita will have some experience to share, or possibly, I don't know. If you are a woman, you will understand this better. Then you go to a school and your teacher, one of your teachers, is really harassing you sexually, to the point that the person will tell you that your academic life is in his hand. A teacher has told me that before in training college. Because to him, every woman, every lady says yes to him. So who are you to reject him? Your academic life, training college. For me, secondary school, teacher won't remember, students won't remember. I was one kind of principal straight student that you can't easily mingle with unless I want to choose you. Most training colleges, we don't have kids there, we don't have girls, we don't have boys. Everybody who managed to come to training college is a woman already. And so this form of intimidation is something that we need to do away with. Your teacher will go to you and you tell him you are not interested, and because he's winning a lot of these ladies to himself, he doesn't see why you should say no to him. And tell you that your academic life is in my hands. And this person will make sure that even if you cough in class, he will have to punish you. If a senior comes to report you to him that, oh, you have done this, oh, he went to entertainment, she didn't dance. And the teacher will make it a big case, wanting to punish you because you are in his green book or whatever, whether red book or green or pink sheet already. That's why I'm asking that.
Because of the way it is.
Exactly.
But I think now the teacher training college is not supposed to be like that. So
my point.
I think it was because of the way it was then. And I doubt any teacher will be able to do that now, except the lady in question, maybe agreed to it or they didn't report. Because if you report, definitely the person will be sanctioned.
I think
that was then.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, if you make a report, definitely something will be done. Something will be done.
Noah, is your hand up?
But it happens, and it's not just
my hand is up.
It happens everywhere. It happens in all schools, university or wherever. Sexual harassment happen. So in the universities, wherever it happens. But as a lecturer or a teacher, you're not supposed to date a student you are teaching, you're currently teaching, or especially the one that is in your class or takes a subject that you teach. Yes, that's not supposed to be.
You know, for them, they are it's not that they are in to date you.
Yeah.
Their own wives, they may have their own skills. They just want to appease you. Your hand is up.
My hand is up. I see this one to be a complex one. Complex in the sense that the factors involved are many. Okay, and it's not only in the superior junior relationship kind of thing, student lecturer or student teacher relationship kind of thing, but it's also power play. Okay, so let me touch on each of them. So the first factor is there are ladies either by influence, peer influence or not, okay, who ordinarily or will not hesitate, okay, and making appearances in front of those teachers. And those teachers are also men, okay, are also men. So their minds may be swayed by how the lady presented herself.
Are you there?
Of it, which, yeah, please, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
I think for that point, you should make it some of them. Some of them will make advances because of how the female students appear. But for some,
I agree. For some, yes. For some, they are indeed strong woman. They are indeed the way they are, okay, harassing the female students. And I was a class prefect, okay. When I was in school, I was a class prefect, and I was a prefect as well at the school. And there are instances that, okay, some of the ladies' friends have reported, okay, as a way of chatting to me, okay, what a particular lecturer does, okay, when it comes to inviting ladies into to his office. So I've heard so many of that report as a class prefect. But as a student in the same class, do I really have the power to confront that teacher on what I've heard from what my colleagues from the class? So oftentimes we don't really have the power to confront them. So we allow them to do whatever they do to our young ladies in secondary schools. And I not only my secondary school, there are other secondary schools that I heard that some of these issues are rampant, to the extent that some of the teachers are caught but not punished. And some, when they are caught, they are either transferred to a different school, okay, or they keep silence, and other lecturers too, they are also there covering their colleagues' back. And it looks as if it's a norm, that kind of thing. So I think it's a major issue happening in secondary schools. And I as a guy and a school prefect at the time, I have heard many of these issues happening. And I don't know for now what measures that have been put in place to check some of those things happening. The reports and the cases we are reading in the news media, it suggests that those things are still happening. Okay, that is why I'm saying that it's a complex thing. Complex in the sense that some of the ladies may be involved, and complex also in the sense that some of the teachers are just refusing to change, and they just want to continue to do that. And also, the ladies are not given the power, the empowerment to voice out some of these abuses. In fact, there are so many of ladies who have been abused in secondary school, but they never had the courage to say it to their parents, to say it to their guardians, or even to say it to their friends. They keep quiet on it. Even some keep quiet till they die. So it's because they have not been empowered enough to voice out some of these issues. So some of the teachers take advantage of that silence and continue doing whatever they like. So I think the empowerment is very, very key. Empowerment is very, very key. And the other angle is that if the lady is pressured from home to pass a particular course, if you don't pass, don't come to this house. And the lady realized that the way she's going in school, she can't really pass the exam. That lady could be pressured indirectly to do whatever in her powers to get a grade. Because if I don't get a grade, I'm not going home. So I have to do something to get a grade to go home. So some ladies will be reluctant, but other ladies may fall because of some of these social pressures as well. So empowerment is key, but we have to also look at the complexity of this issue by putting measures in place to deter the teachers from harassing our young ladies. Thank you.
You are right about that. Empowerment. Anita, how do we empower these women to voice out? Because as he said, well, for the men, most of these abuse may take form of punishment or some insults or, go and read physical abuse and all those things. But for women, it becomes really complex when sometimes you just have to sleep your way out of problems or sleep your way out of, issues. In what ways can we empower the women or the girls in school so that whether it's coming from a senior male student or whether it's coming from a teacher, that you can have the confidence to come out to talk about it?
Oh, yeah. So for that, I think every parent should train the child or the daughter well. And then you should, as a woman or a female, you should read. If you're in school, you should be serious.
Anita, would you say our culture, the nature of the culture we have, especially in Africa here, the culture has a role to play because we have the system whereby a child will not have to, even in the home setting, a child must be seen, must not be heard. So that kind of training that have been given to us from infancy deprive us the liberty.
That's different. That's different.
The liberty to talk.
It's
so
different.
When I go to school and I'm being abused, what I've been taught to do is I should keep quiet.
Different. It is different. So you let your even as from infancy, you let them know that, for example, if a man touches even if it's your uncle, as a girl, if he touches you, let me know. That child knows that it is wrong. My nieces, as small as they are, if you touch them, they will tell me. Do you get it? So,
yeah.
It depends on how you train the child. So forget about the fact that maybe children are not made to talk and all that. No, children now are not like that. They ask questions, except that child is not so smart. And if you are the type that maybe just shuns them to keep quiet and all that when they ask reasonable questions, then that is not good. So that is quite different. If at home, maybe when parents are talking, you're not supposed to talk. That is different from when you go to school and a teacher is bullying you or asking for favors you can't give as a girl child or a student. You have to tell your parents or you report to the principal. That one, you have to let the child know that is what's supposed to be done. So it is totally different from the way our culture is now, because things are changing. Things are changing. So you should train your girl child to know that this and this has to be reported. and train the child to be confident, to know when to report such things or incidences. It's not every time the child asks questions that you shun them and tell them to keep quiet. Sometimes you have to explain. You have to explain why. You get it? So, and that is why, I mean, you have to make them watch educational programs. You have to make them read. When the moment they start reading, you have to make them read so that they learn. And that is how it should be. So what I would just say is train the child right from infancy, from childhood. You train the child right. When the child goes out there, he or she wouldn't easily conform to the norm out there that is not right, you know, truancy and the rest of them. So the country is built from the different homes we have in the system. You get what? The society is built from homes. That's what I'm trying to say. The family unit is very important. So as parents, we should know this and train our children in this pattern so that when they go out there, they wouldn't derail from what is supposed to be. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, Anita. I was come to Noah to ask whether it's about the child upbringing. This whole thing is about the child. But first, let me come to Dr. Benny. Dr. Benny, I welcome you to the show. We are happy to have you here. Hi, Dr. Benny. Could you please mute yourself or mute yourself and talk? All right. I don't know. I think his microphone. Yeah. So we come back.
Yeah. So I agree.
Okay.
I agree that the upbringing is important. So let me take myself as a case study. Okay, I was brought up in a disciplinarian home. Okay, where every aspect is under watch. So you can afford to misbehave or do certain things wrong. You get what? And so as at the time I was going to secondary school, I have that grooming to accept punishment as a normal thing and do all the things, okay, because I'm a child. So, and when I was growing up to, I had a situation whereby if I do something wrong, okay, and my aunties, okay, and my aunties can punish me, my uncles can punish me, and if I get home, I have to keep quiet, or else if I tell my mom or dad that my auntie has punished me or my uncle has punished me because of ABCD, they tend to punish me more just for telling them that. So I always keep quiet when I'm being punished outside and I come home. I always keep quiet. So I was growing up keeping quiet on a lot of things that were happening around me. So in secondary school, you could imagine I was one of those boys who could not get the courage to go and report to the house master about some of the bullies that were happening in our dormitories. So that is my case. So there are other cases of upbringing that might have contributed to what is happening in our secondary schools. So in the case of the ladies who have gone through all this stuff, upbringing that are not truly good enough to motivate them and empower them to say things wrongly down to them, definitely they will keep quiet till they get to their 80s before they regret never saying it. We know, we have read reports of high profile personalities who have been abused when they were young, and they never commented till they get to their 70s, 80s, and sometimes when the person that has abused them find himself in the public limelight before they come out and say, okay, this person has abused me before. You get the whole thing. So it's indeed also part of our upbringing to keep quiet on many of these issues. Well, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We have Ms. Sandra on the show. We have Dr. Benny also with us. We welcome you all to the show. Hello, Sandra, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. No, yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, we are happy to have you. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, yes. I can hear you.
That's great. We have Dr. Benny too on the show. Hi, Doctor. Hi, Dr. Benny. All right, I'm sure we're going to have him back. Well, Ms. Sandra, welcome you to the show. We are discussing boarding school system in the face of abuse. And some part of Africa and even Ghana here, we've recorded a lot of incidents about bullying in secondary school, such that some students will have to lose their lives, lost his life because of bullying. In here, a lot has happened. The recent one was the one that happened at Konongo Dumasi, where as a result of bullying, now the question is, in the face of this bullying, is still relevant in the face of abuse? That is what we are discussing, and welcome you to share your ideas.
All right, your line was really breaking, so I didn't get the whole story, but you were talking about abuse in the boarding schools. Is that what you're saying? Hello, Nanaya, can you hear me?
Yes, abuse in the boarding school.
All right, okay. Well, I think it's everywhere. It's not just maybe Ghana or Africa. Even in the UK, there's still some bullies that actually abuse other students. So, well, I think it's all about one, not just how the child was brought up at home to report such incidents, but also when they're in school and they think that they can actually express themselves or tell anybody what is going on, they tend to endure the abuse. But if the relationship between the child and the parents are solid, the child is able to open up and let the parents know exactly what is going on. And it's also a duty of the parent not to just downplay the feelings of a child when he says or she says, I'm being abused in school. The parents need to take it up, take it with the authorities, find out exactly what is going on. It's rather unfortunate that a few years, I think 2 years or 3 years ago, 3 years, either 2 or 3 years ago, I'm not too sure. A friend of mine, his son lost his life through bullying in school, where it's so sad. He's an A-star pre-med student in Cambridge University, and he was being bullied to the point that he jumped in front of a running train. Okay, yeah, and so he lost his life,
Wow.
and it was later discovered that